You know, nature. Just getting out away from all the crowds and enjoying it.
He got really close to that tree right there. This place is not very easy to get in or out with big rigs. You can see it's mostly trailers. It's really hard to get in and out. Find a place to park and hook up. Can't hook up at the site, and we couldn't hook up at the dump station because there was a line. We didn't want to hold other people up. So now we just got to drive down the road and try to find somewhere to pull over and do it. Guess he's gonna stop here in this person's parking lot and block it. I hope he hurries up and hooks it up then. A door is ajar outside. You got it. I said, Rob, your door's open. He starts freaking out. What door? What door? What door? One of the side ones. Please don't get hit by a car. Glad I saw that.
So yesterday we forgot to call campsites during business hours. We didn't remember till after 5 o'clock. So I had to wake up this morning and make a few phone calls and see if there's a place to stay. We're going to Pigeon Forge, and it's a big tourist trap, and it's also peak season for them. So we were trying to stay there a week because obviously it is a tourist trap. There's a ton of stuff to do and a ton of stuff we want to see. And I thought that finding a place would be a challenge, but the second place I called, the first place didn't even answer, and the second place I called actually had room for us. We got to stay there 4 nights, and then we have to move and stay at another spot 3 nights, which is no problem because we called it last minute. I understand that. So we're on our way there now. We got about 80 miles left to go. It might get a little exciting after we get off the interstate. We got some windy mountain roads to go down, and I'm curious to see what that's gonna entail. But other than that, yeah, we're just we're hitting the road. It's a rainy day. We're awful tired today, and we'll be happy to get there.
It's a little tight. We made it. How scary. Do you need me to talk you through it, like talking you through labor? Focus on your breathing.
Don't hyperventilate though. can't pass out.
No. Please don't pass out.
Ooh, big old switchback.
Yeah, this is the big one. Good. Whee! It's like a really slow roller coaster. We looked up the campground. This is what I was worried about, because you can see this from the aerial view, and I was like, oh, they're really close together. But I guess it's just storage, which I was assuming that's what it was, because they were way too close together. So this site is listed as a 35-foot, but as you can see, we got a 40-foot. We've got plenty of room for that in the car too. So we're all good here. She told us we would fit, and we do.
So we made it here to our next stop. This is an awesome campsite. Lots of space in between. We're here at, what's the name of it? Honeysuckle Meadows. And it's here in Sevierville, Tennessee, which is actually Dolly Parton's hometown. So we're about, it says 15 minutes, but I'm gonna say around 30 minutes from Pigeon Forge. And we're just gonna hang out here tonight and do some shopping and see what we get into tomorrow. Can you help me? Oh. Whoa. Okay, push. Yeah.
Good job. What is that, Padme?
Is that Tennessee?
Tennessee? Tennessee. Our windshield was leaking today, we noticed. It was leaking over here. So it's leaking from the top, but then Rob just noticed that. So that's great. I think we're gonna lose our whole windshield. I don't know how he's gonna fix this, but it was already coming off right here, and he put all the silicone here. But that doesn't look good.
So it's the next day here in Sevierville, and it's been raining, and I've been struggling trying to get our windshield to seal properly. I'm gonna have to climb up there and see what's going on. When we bought the RV, we found that they had hit something on the roof and that they had siliconed it all up, and it wasn't leaking when we bought it, but since I peeled back the mess of silicone, which I probably shouldn't have, and then tried to fix it, and make it look better, we're starting to get some issues, and now it looks like the windshield has popped forward. I don't know if it's popped forward or just the silicone that I put is separated because the RV moving around and bouncing and stuff. So I'm gonna get the ladder and try and climb up there and see what I can do about it this morning. Well, this is fun. Due to where our RV is parked, there's a hill starting right at our back tires with push-up bumper, pretty high off the ground, which means my ladder is really high off the ground, and all I have is this footstool, and I can't quite reach that. I'm gonna keep trying and try and get it down, but it looks like I might need a ladder to get my ladder. So I'm just having a hard time reaching that ratchet strap and loosening it. My fingers can barely touch it. I've got this as close as I can, as far up the hill. So I've got my crowbar here, and I'm gonna try and get it up there and pop the ratchet strap loose. If I can get it loose, I can get the ladder down, but we'll see if that works. Okay, that worked. I got it down. Getting it back up's another story, but I'll just do that the day when we pull out and I can reach a little better. It's so strange because the damage is right here, and a lot of this is silicone that was already here when we bought the RV. The guy just made a mess with it, which is why I was cutting it away and trying to make it better. But this is a hole directly into the RV, and it almost looks like it's, you can see this bend, like it's bowed out, and there's no give to it. It's very strange why this is doing that. I don't know if it's all the silicone and all the heat we've had that caused this to happen, but I'm gonna try my best and see what I can do to fix this problem and seal it up. I mean, the windshield's on here. I can pull and tug on it. It's not going anywhere. So I just need to get this hole patched somehow. And I do believe it is from this existing damage. They hit something here. There's a crack in the fiberglass. This is a Turnabond tape. It's the best thing I could find to seal it up without fiberglass repair, but it's dented back. So maybe this is just from that damage, and maybe there was silicone here, and by rubbing on trees and the heat over time, it's kind of shown its ugly head. But I definitely need to fix that. So I'm sure I'll get comments, better ways, comments about how to do this, but this was my way of fixing it. I took this Turnabond tape, which is really, really good stuff. I mean, you can use this underwater. This is like Flex Seal times 10. It's very expensive. You buy it by the foot. But I put that on the back side here, under the windshield, to give some backing, so I can then apply silicone on the outside layer and just really fill it in. I thought I'd be able to push the windshield back, but it just doesn't move. I'm pretty sure it's because of that damage. But you know, it's not the most attractive looking thing, but you really don't see this. It's up inside the molding of the window, so you can't even really see it. And it's just a quick, cheap fix, and I'm just gonna fill it full of silicone on the outside now that it has something to go up against. And this is waterproof tape. It's very, very, very sticky. So hopefully that will solve problems of any water leaking through. Well, it's not the prettiest job. It doesn't look the best, but it was already screwed up there anyways. I think what I'm gonna do is, after that silicone dries good, I'm gonna put some Turnabond tape along that seam as well. So I have silicone and Turnabond on both sides. So we're headed out today just to do a bit of exploring. We'll probably do a little bit of shopping, maybe hit an arcade later. shuns. All Wolfstoff. All the way down. All right. Lunch was good.
It's delicious.
Now we're gonna go play some games. The arcade was fun. Not as many video games as we would have liked. A lot of ticket machines, but a lady came up and from the arcade and gave us 600 free tickets just because she liked Padme. So Padme got to pick out a prize and she got herself a llama. Today, on this rainy day, we're gonna go do something inside. I wanted to go see the Star Cars Museum, but I am interested to see how many are actually screen used cars. I already know due to their ad that a couple aren't because they have a DeLorean time machine from Back to the Future and a Ecto-1 Ghostbusters car from Ghostbusters. And I know that both of those original screen used ones are in the Peterson Auto Museum in California. So these aren't originals, they're replicas. But it's still going to be cool to go see them. I've never actually seen a DeLorean time machine that's been done, and there's a lot of really good replicas out there. So it'll be exciting to see. There's also a lot of cars from Fast and the Furious. So yeah, we're going to head on down there and see what that's all about and try to stay dry on this rainy day. So I'm a little let down with this one. I knew it would be a replica because I know where all the screen used ones are at. I was expecting a better replica. This one's poorly made. It's the wrong year car. Everything is wrong about it. These pieces here are incorrect. The sides here are wrong. The interior is extremely wrong. None of this is right. None of these switches are right. This panel up here on the dash is not correct. It's missing a lot of things. It just looks like it was just thrown together. The flux capacitor is not in the right spot and it's too big. There's no panel back there. Back here is very poorly made. It's just, nothing's right. None of this is correct. None of it's correct. And also, if it was a screen used one, this panel wouldn't be here. This would be open into the car. And it's just, this car is just a mess. These fins aren't right. They're not even made correctly. Yeah, this is a very poor replica. You can tell by the gas flap on the hood, it's not even the right year car. This one also definitely wasn't screen used. I don't know enough about it to tell you what's incorrect about it, but this one at least looks pretty good. So I wanted to see the Star Car Museum, and we did. I was a little let down with the DeLorean. I am a big movie buff. A lot of people probably don't realize that DeLorean was incorrect, but you know, I did, and it was a little let down. I mean, I knew that it was going to be a replica, but I was hoping for a bit better of a replica. I know there are a lot better ones out there, and just that car honestly was a piece of trash. It just wasn't worth it. And you know, a lot of their cars were screen used, and it was really cool to see them, and I'm really happy that I went. I'm still happy that I went. I just wouldn't expect much if you're going there to see the Time Machine, because it is no good. So that's pretty much it for us in Gatlinburg today. There's a lot of other places that seem really interesting to see and do around here, but it's a huge tourist trap, and we're trying to save money, and it was really hard to say no to going into that arcade right there. We spent a lot at the other arcade the other day, and I gotta have some self-control and not go in there. It looks really cool, looks really big. I'm sure there's some cool stuff in there, but I know if I go and look, I'm gonna want to go in there. And we got the rest of the U.S. to see. You know, I'm sure there'll be other arcades to see, but yeah, Gatlinburg is really cool. It's a big tourist trap, but it's a cool little town. It's very, very crowded this time of year. In the end, I do gotta say, it just makes me more determined to get out to California, to go to the Peterson Auto Museum and see the real DeLorean. So we're just in Pigeon Forge today doing some shopping. We didn't really have any plans today, and Padme's birthday's coming up, and there's a toy store over here. Seems like the most complicated toy store to get to, and we're not even sure if they have what we're looking for, but we're gonna try it out. We actually have to park and then ride a tram to the area where the toy store is at. So A little more complicated than we thought it was going to be. It still just blows me away how touristy this place is. It's insane, and it's insane how many people are here. I can't believe it. You know, Dolly World really changed this area. I'm sure some say for the better and some say for the worse, but it's just crazy. All right, so today we got to move to another campsite at the same campgrounds. Again, we've come to expect that because we make last-minute reservations. You know, I know campgrounds don't like to move you around. It's an inconvenience for them. It's an inconvenience for you to have to get broke down after getting set up, and just to move a few hundred yards that way. But you know, that's what we get for making last-minute reservations, and it's just something you have to deal with. You know, it's not too big of a hassle, but it is just waking up a couple extra hours early and doing some work to get it ready to go. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm breaking down the sewer, I'm breaking down the water. I'm gonna get all that packed away and get everything inside secured, and then we're gonna move up the hill a little bit. The view won't be as good, but we'll be in the woods. It's an interesting site. Most sites are either back in or pull through, and this one is different because it's actually pulling in forwards, because the hookups are on this side. It'll be the first time I've pulled into a spot like that before. We looked at it yesterday and we saw that the water is pretty far away. We might actually have to connect both of our hoses together to reach. We'll see. Maybe I can just use the long hose, but we'll see. Yeah, just getting it all packed up, and we're gonna move over there. Okay, we've pulled into our next spot. As you can see, we have to pull forward. And the other thing is the water. I'll show you what's going on with that. So here at the site, that's where our electric goes. And there's the box. That's pretty normal. That's where our water and sewer is. Our sewer pipe is back there. Actually, I hope it reaches. It might not. And then our water is all the way up there. So yeah, we have to span this gap. So you think I would have learned this lesson already. Eventually I will learn it. We leveled out the RV. I was gonna go hook it up, and I pulled really far forward because of the water issue I was talking about. Making sure we could reach it, and not thinking the sewer hose didn't reach. So we had to put the jacks back up, put it in gear and move it back and reset the jacks. But now we're good, and now for me to finish setting up, it is pouring rain. So perfect. You know, just another challenge of it being the two of us and having a little one is while I'm getting set up, you know, Padme is usually awake, and we can't leave her alone in the RV, so it's all up to me to get set up, which is fine, I don't mind, but when it's pouring like this, sometimes you just want somebody to hold the umbrella. So if you're ever at a campsite and you see a guy setting up and you're able to help, go over there and give him a hand and hold the umbrella, because he probably doesn't have any way of having anybody else help him. That would be nice, but you know, we divide the task. Steph gets the inside ready to go while I get the outside, and it's worked out great, and I'm not complaining one bit. I'm complaining about the rain. I mean, perfect timing. If I would have pulled in correctly and checked to see if the sewer line would have reached, which I should have learned this lesson by now, It's the 4th time this has happened. If I would have done that, I would have beat the rain. But because we had to move the RV back, the rain came, and you know, it wasn't just a sprinkle, it was pouring. So, and sometimes you need 2 hands and you just got to let the umbrella go, and yeah, it sucks. I'm on my way to the auto parts store right now. It looks like that windshield fix that I did the other day just isn't going to cut it. I need to do it properly, or at least more properly. We called around all kinds of places today, and nobody is able to do a reseal of the glass on our RV here, and I'm scared that it's gonna fall out. And right now it's just popping out in that corner, and some on the other side it's kind of coming away from the RV, and we're gonna have to drive somewhere to get it fixed. We're gonna have to leave this area because there's just nobody around here that'll do it. So like I said, I'm on my way to the auto parts store now. I'm going to try and see what I can find as far as what I can do to fix it. I know I can get the windshield kind of pop back into place, and then I'm going to try and find some windshield adhesive or something to hold it in place as best as I can. Maybe I'll be able to fix it for good. I'm going to see what I can find when I get down here. I don't know, but I'm hoping, because I also know that if we do have to take it someplace, and we're probably going to have to, it's going to cost hundreds of dollars. But we obviously don't want the windshield falling out, because that is going to be in the thousands of dollars to replace that windshield, and we don't want to spend that kind of money. So going here to the auto parts store, I'm going to see what I can find as far as windshield adhesive goes. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Oh, O'Reilly. So, I think I found something that'll work. Finally feel like I had a bit of a break today. We've been calling all day to find somebody to do our windshield. The problem is most windshield companies don't do RVs, and the only one in this area that we found that does do RVs, and trust me, we've called several RV repair places and everything, and they all utilize this company to do their windshields for them. And the only place we found that does RV windshields said that our RV, which is a 1998, is too old, and they will not work on an RV that old. So we got to drive somewhere. We got to leave this area. We got to find an area that'll do it correctly. Again, I'm hoping that I can actually fix it semi-correctly to where we don't have to go get it done, but we still might have to, and I know that's a possibility. I went into the O'Reilly's. The gentleman there was as helpful as he could be, but wasn't too knowledgeable. The problem is you don't want an adhesive that is solid and strong, because the RV flexes and moves as you drive it, as you level it. And if you get something that's too solid and you glue that windshield in and it flexes, you run the possibility of breaking the windshield, and you do not want to do that. That's a way more expensive fix. So, sorry, I'm trying to make a left-hand turn out of a place that's kind of difficult. So anyways, it needs to be some sort of silicone. And again, I did run silicone around the outside of it, but that's not the problem. There's a rubber gasket in between the glass and the body of the RV. The body's metal, the glass is obviously glass. It pinches it. There's a pinch on one side that pinches the glass, a pinch on the other side that pinches the metal, and the glass floats in between it. And you can see on the outside edge of that rubber seal, and I'll cut to some video to show you, but you can see that it does have an adhesive on it that holds that rubber seal in place. And I just put caulking around the outside edge of it to keep water from getting in. I wasn't really trying to seal that windshield. I was able to leave O'Reilly's, go next door to an AutoZone, and ran into a gentleman at the counter who had the same issue on his brother's RV that he fixed for him, and said that his issue has been solved and they haven't had to go get it fixed somewhere else. Again, I don't know if that's going to be our case, but he told me and showed me what he used. I hope that it works. I feel fairly confident that if anything, it will keep the windshield from coming out any further until we can make it to a place that can actually fix it. Alright, so it's going to get dark soon, and it's just too wet outside to really do an adhesive today, but I am going to start cleaning it up a bit, and I'll show you what I'm talking. So this is the gasket right here, and there's a lip basically here that you can peel back, and a lip on the top. Now, some of this silicone was from the previous owner, and some of it's from me, and essentially, I don't know if you can see it, but I need to clean all of this up and get rid of all this silicone here just by doing that. And then I will peel back. I'll get a suction cup on the windshield and kind of make sure it's in place, and peel back this rubber seal here and put my adhesive up underneath on this side and on the outside edge, and hopefully that will solve the problem. But the first thing first is getting all this cleaned up. I am going to start on this side. That side is worse, but I think because you can see a gap on this side, I think that this windshield is pushing over this direction and putting pressure on the other end, forcing that out. So I think I need to get this side in place first and then work on the other side that actually is worse than this. But yeah, I'm just gonna do a little work this evening and start cleaning some of this up since it's not holding back any water anyways, and get that done first. So here I am this morning. I've got it fairly cleaned up. I'm gonna work on it a little more, and I'm just gonna keep cleaning up this edge and trying to get this seal to set back on the glass. So I'm in a bit of a tough spot, you know. I've got all this cleaned up really well, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's the gap. I've got my suction cup on right here, and I'm just trying to give the windshield some tugs and see if it'll scoot a little bit, and it's not budging. And the thing is, the windshield looks very well attached down here at the bottom, very well attached here at the top, and then this side right there it starts, and there's just this big gap all the way down to about there. And I don't know if it's just the seal that's shifted or still the windshield, but the seal is glued on. I'm afraid to break this seal because it looks stock, and yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna keep working with it, keep messing with it, trying to tug it, seeing what I can do. I'm being very careful with this windshield because I do not want to break it, so I'm trying not to put a ton of force on it. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep trying. I don't know what I'm gonna do. You know, I'm trying to shift this windshield around with the suction cup, and it just isn't moving. It's just not moving. So I've been making some more phone calls, trying to find somebody that can help. You know, it's probably not going to be done the right way. But I know this windshield's moving because the gap over on that side got even wider when we leveled out one day. I mean, it opened up big time. So this side you'd think would be setting just fine, and if this side, if I just pack it full of some kind of sealer or something and make sure the windshield isn't falling out. But I really need to get a professional to take a look at it and just assure me that the windshield's not going anywhere, and see about packing this with something to keep the water from leaking into the RV. I don't really know what to do at this point. I'm going to keep making some phone calls. I might, if I feel confident enough, try to drive out of this area, maybe put some Turnabond tape right here to keep it from leaking into the RV, and then try and find a shop to do it, because I am running into dead ends in the Pigeon Forge area. I did message one guy I was told that does windshields in this area that I haven't heard of before, and I'm hoping to hear back from him, so we'll see. So I had to take a break from that windshield today. I can't really get any more progress. I'm waiting for a phone call back, and yeah, I was just getting frustrated, and the best thing I can do is just kind of get away from it a while, clear my head. So to start the day today, we're going to head to what's called Laurel Falls Trail. Should be a nice little hiking trail here in the Smoky Mountains that should lead us to a waterfall. It's not very far, and it's a pretty public trail. We saw a lot of cars parked there, so we're interested to see what the fuss is all about. I've never in my life seen a hiking trail so packed. It's insane out here. There are cars lined for a mile or more. It's crazy. So we definitely need to see what all the fuss is about. I hope it's a great looking waterfall, because there's a ton of people here. You know, nature. Just getting out away from all the crowds and enjoying it. Well, it's a bit of a letdown. The trail is literally paved. There are people with strollers and flip-flops hiking it. So let's hope for some beautiful falls at the end, at least, to make it worth it. Nice. The pace was a bit slow, so I had to strap her in. Say hi. Paved the whole way. Besides the little one back here, that pack is pretty empty, so it looks like I'm hiking out some trash. On the plus side, you know, silver lining, all these people mean that I don't have to walk into any spider webs today, so bonus. Just found a nice stream over there. I was able to splash in my face. Feels a lot better now. Finally, here's some running water. We got to be getting close. Holy crap. Just straight crowded with people. It's insane. I've never seen this. Even at the waterfalls back in Virginia, this is just craziness. If you want to get away from the crowds, Laurel Place is not the place to go. So there was actually a park ranger at the head of the trail and here at the end of the trail. I had a good long talk with him and asked him, you know, how normal this was. And he said it was pretty normal. He said this is the most popular trail near Gatlinburg. And his wife's at the bottom trying to keep count of the people coming up to let him know. And when we got here, she was already over 2,000 people hiking up this trail in one day. And there's obviously more piling in. I thought there was a big crowd here, but he said earlier that there were so many people up here that they had to wait in line to even catch sight of the falls, and that they were shoulder to shoulder. You couldn't even get a good picture. But he gave me some good recommendations. If we have time, we'll go check those trails out.